remember that night, actually, Martin, so I do. We were all at the Parliament Square. There was a huge atmosphere. It was almost like carnival-type atmosphere. But let's fast forward to the here and now. Many people being very critical of Brexit, saying, you know, it would basically broke the country and all the rest of it. Where do you stand on it?
I think Brexit was the greatest opportunity this country had since the Second World War. It gave a huge democratic voice to those who have been voiceless for many, many years. We were denied any form of immigration debate, denied any form of debate on leaving the EU. And then when it happened, the political establishment did everything it could to try and stymie it. That's why I got involved. I went to Brussels to make sure the job got done. But the doubts set in as to the veracity and the determination of the Conservative government to actually get Brexit done when we saw the withdrawal agreement on October the 17th, 2019. And I was on Question Time that night, a very hostile audience, as you can probably imagine. And it was abundantly clear in that 72-page document. Matt Hancock was on the show, by the way. He hadn't read the document, an early indicator of his ineptitude. On fishing, on state aid, on Northern Ireland, on the border down the Irish Sea, on the level playing field, on taxation, on supremacy of European law, there were still holes. There were ways back through the cat flap, either for the EU to come into our territory or for politicians to row back. And I think that the Conservative Party gave us a brino, a Brexit in name only. I think it was a failing. We should have gone for a clean break. And those fracture lines have come back to haunt us. And worse than that, Michelle, I think now the Tory government has amazingly squandered this 80-seat majority. I think we will see a rowing back. It seems certain that Labour will get in. They've already talking about getting closer alignment with the European Union, and we haven't taken back control of our borders. That's one key thing. It's worse than ever before. I was
just about to say, it's gone the opposite way, I would argue.
And so I would say it was the best opportunity we had for sovereignty and independence in our lifetimes, and the Tories threw it away.
So it was a great idea, Emma, but poorly executed is the vibe I'm getting from Martin Daubney. Do you agree?
Not with the first part, obviously. I'm here to be your voice of the other side. Look, I was a Remainer.
Here to share your valid views as well.
And my valid view is I was a Remainer. I really wanted to stay in the EU, but I think the Remain campaign got loads of things really badly wrong that the Brexit campaign didn't, in fact. And I think it is so worth us all taking a moment to think about that and what those people... And when you say you haven't met a Brexiteer that's changing their minds, I think there are people like me who are incredibly passionate on the Remain side. There are people like yourselves who are incredibly passionate on the Brexit side. And then there's everybody else in the middle. And there's probably quite a few of those who voted for Remain but were like, OK, well, it's happened now, just get on with it. There were others who voted for Brexit for a lot of different reasons, and I think a lot of them were much better appealed to. The Brexit campaign did a much, much better job at reaching those people who may have never voted before, than the Remain campaign. I used to get so frustrated. I used to say, why are you fighting this campaign as if it's the letters page of the FT and not actually something that exists in people's lives and in the pub and in the living room and in the working man's club, as you said. So I think there is a difference between the kind of technocratic discussions that we have about, these laws and this, and the cultural promise that was made for Brexit. And I think where a lot of people feel let down, if they don't feel that cultural promise, whether that is done in the ways that you're talking about or whether that's done in other ways, has been fulfilled. And I think that is where Brexit has failed far more than it's failed politically.